From the CyberHub bunker and studio, you're tuning in to the CyberHub Podcast. And now for your host and CISO, James Azar.
Good morning, security gang. Welcome to another exciting episode of the CyberHub Podcast, Tuesday, June 3rd, 2025. Who would have thunk it? It's June already. I know I keep saying it, but I can't believe it's June already. I feel like February was just around the corner. Packed show this morning. Packed show, yes. To answer James's question, Credential stuffing, absolutely. Story number 3, don't go anywhere for that. Ernesto, my coffee buddy, here it is. Here it is. You're beating me to the punch, but look at that beautiful foam on top of that espresso. That's how you know. That's how you appreciate that crema. There is what makes Italians go espresso. It's delicious. Coffee cup cheers, y'all. And by the way, this is a elite Turkish coffee roast. I got these Nespresso capsules when I was in Israel, and they're so good. And given that I'm going to be there in a few short weeks, I got to get through all of these capsules now so I can buy a whole lot more. I'm considering buying just a suitcase for coffee while I'm there. Just saying, coffee is that good. Tel Aviv gets coffee right. Okay, so packed show this morning. Let's go ahead and get started with Cartier. Yep. The famous pricey jewelry brand that has been around since 1847, sending notifications to some affected clients that compromised data that they went through an unauthorized party, gaining access to their environment, included names, email addresses, and countries of residence. They've emphasized no passwords, credit card numbers, or banking information were involved in the breach. This is following just a massive attack on retailers, right? So Marks and Spencer's in the UK, and so many others, Adidas, Victoria's Secret last week, and now we're seeing Cartier. Retail, you're on the mark. The target is set. It's painted on you. Time to build resilience. Answering James's questions, capsules or K-cups? No, I don't have cake. I don't have a Keurig machine. I have a Nespresso machine with the old capsules. I'll show them tomorrow on the show. I'll bring one of them and kind of put it on the screen. I have 2 different machines. I've got one where I actually grind the beans and make my own espresso. I use that every once in a while. And then for the morning show, sometimes if I'm running late, like I am today, I used an espresso capsule, but not the exclusive Nespresso capsules, the old ones. They're called the original Nespresso capsules. So there's that. Answering those coffee questions is way more important than cyber. I'm kidding. All right. Main Street Bank is reporting that a vendor cyber incident leaked customer information. The Main Street Bank saying the cyber attack affecting one of its vendor exposing sensitive information of about 5% of its customers. In the SEC filing on Friday afternoon, Main Street Bank shares said it was informed in March that a vendor was compromised. Although each vendor goes through its own security vetting process, they ceased all activity with this provider. So I don't know what that means. Is that temporary? Is that permanent? We don't know. I wish they would be clear about it, because there'd be no better lesson if you're a supply chain company than someone actually terminating a contract because of an incident, and depending on the type of incident. So there's that. Main Street said it notified regulators of the incident, informing customers on May 26th. The company created monitoring systems and provided victims with tools to monitor any suspicious activity. The incident did not have any material impact on the company's operation. Main Street Bank reports a deposits of around $1.9 billion in the last quarter and a net income of $2.5 million in 2024. The company had a $10 million loss. So we'll see what that means there. Let's get to the Credential stuffing attack against the North Face. So we talked about this back in April. In April, we talked about the fact that threat actors were stealing usernames and passwords in Credential stuffing attacks, targeting the company's website. This was the North Face, the outdoor apparel company that's owned by VF Corporation that also controls Vans, Timberland, and Dickies. The North Face does generate around $3 billion in annual revenue. And for those who don't know what Credential stuffing attacks are, it's where threat actors attempt to gain unauthorized access to user accounts by automating login attempts using username and password pairs previously exposed in data breaches. The technique is possible due to Credential recycling. It's when you use your same username and password And if you don't have MFA, they get access to your account. And if you've got a credit card saved on that account, they can buy, they can change the address, they can take over it. So you're not having a good day. You want to make sure you use MFA anywhere you put payment information, just as a general rule of thumb. The North Face also began to send data breach notification to impacted customers, with a sample notice shared with the Vermont Attorney General that informing customers that it recently suffered a credential stuffing attack. The data exposed includes full name, purchase history, shipping address, email address, dates of birth, and telephone numbers. And again, maybe outside of purchase history, maybe, and I don't even know if that's PII. Like, I don't think this is a breach someone should have to report to all these agencies. Credential stuffing should be something you maybe like notify the customer, but you don't have to notify the regulator, like, because none of this information is really private. Maybe date of birth. I'll give you date of birth. That would make sense. And to James's thing here, sounds like customers should pay in cash. Yes, although if you're ordering online, that becomes nearly impossible. A lot of banks will allow you to use a credit card online only, like you just generate it for that one purchase and it's a one use and it's a digital card and you get rid of it. That's a good option for those who don't want to do that, but it's a lot of work and a lot of people aren't willing to put in that kind of work. So one other thing, while we're all here, in just a few hours, the legend Roger Grimes is going to be joining me on the show. 11 a.m. Eastern, we go live. Roger has an idea of how to fix the internet and make us all go out of business. So I'm really excited to speak to Roger. Roger's written like 19 books. Data-driven computer defense is one of his great books. Hacking MFA. He's written a lot of great books. He'll be on the show at 11 a.m. The show will be live, so come with your questions. Come armed and ready to go. You can find it here on YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, X, and anywhere else you get your podcasts. Google's latest update to the Android operating system is patching more than 30 different vulnerabilities. All of them were classified as high severity. According to Google, the 2025 Android Security Bulletin reveals the most serious flaw, which is CVE 2025-26443, a local privilege escalation issue in the system component. Exploitation wouldn't require additional privileges and user interaction is needed. They also took care of vulnerabilities that could lead to denial of service, privilege escalation, information disclosure were all patched, and runtime components as well as third-party components from ARM and Imagination Technologies were all taken care of there as well. Google also releasing an emergency security update to fix a third Chrome zero-day vulnerability that's being exploited in attacks since the start of the year. Google is aware that the exploit for CVE 2025-5419er does exist in the wild. The company's warning on a security advisory published yesterday, the high severity vulnerabilities caused by an out-of-bounds read and write weakness in Chrome's V8 JavaScript engine. It was reported 1 week ago by Clement Lassen and Benoit Sevens of Google's threat analysis group. Google says the issue was mitigated 1 day later by configuration changes the company pushed to the stable channel across all platforms. The release is 137.0.7151.68/.69er for Windows and Mac and .68 for Linux. So you want to make sure you get that patched up ASAP. Qualcomm are releasing 3 different security patches for zero-day vulnerabilities in the Adreno graphics GPU driver that impacts dozens of chipsets and are being exploited in targeted attacks. The company says 2 of the critical flaws, CVE 2025-21479er and 21480, were reported through Google Android security team in late January. The third vulnerability, CVE 2025-27038, was reported in March. The first 2 are both graphic framework incorrect authorization weakness that can lead to memory corruption because of an unauthorized command execution in the GPU micronode while executing a specific sequence of commands. And CVE 27038 is a use after free, causing memory corruption while rendering graphics using Adreno GPU drivers in Chrome. So all of those have been patched up. You want to make sure you get that there. Microsoft and CrowdStrike announcing on Monday that they're leading in an industry effort to map threat actor naming with the goal of making it easier to align intelligence. Thank you. Let me give you applause. Bravo. Finally, hundreds of threat groups, 1,700 names. I've always said it here on the show. Pick one name. Finally, someone's listening after years of whining and complaining. Thank you, Microsoft. Thank you, CrowdStrike. I think all Chinese threat actors should be pandas. All Russian threat actors should be bears. All Iranians should be cats. All North Koreans, I don't know, snails. I don't know, something, whatever. Give them a name, you know. But please, see, all these different names. Look at that. Look, just let's agree on a name, please. The goal: deconflict adversary name to build a cohesive. Yes, because you know what? My company's name is the same for all threat actors. All threat actors, it's the same. Thank you, Microsoft. Thank you, CrowdStrike. Finally, some common sense. Sentinel-1 revealing over the weekend that a software flaw triggered a 7-long-hour outage on Thursday of last week. The massive outage affected multiple customer-facing services in what Sentinel-1 described as a global service disruption. Sentinel-1 acknowledging the outage in a post published on Thursday, reassuring customers that their systems were still protected. The customer endpoint is still protected, but managed response services will not have visibility. Threat data reporting is delayed, not lost, and their initial RCA suggests this is not a security incident, but rather something within their software. They're transitioning to a new cloud architecture built on infrastructure as code principles. The deletion occurred after a soon-to-be depreciated control system was triggered by the creation of a new account. So all in all, they're attributing it to that. The Malaysian Home Minister had his WhatsApp account hacked and then abused to send malicious links to his contacts, according to police. The attacker reportedly used a VPN to compromise the account of Datuk Shiri Saifuddin Nasruddin Ismail. Authorities said at a press conference on Friday of last week, adding no victims reported financial losses so far. They didn't elaborate how the attack happened, where he took over the WhatsApp account, but there's only really few ways you can take over someone's WhatsApp account if it's not a zero-day, it's not an actual tool that you can get, right? The first one is if you SIM swap and then you re-register the number, which this doesn't appear to be the case. Right? So there's that. The second one would be sending them a code and then using maybe WhatsApp through the desktop. That could be another way. But I mean, mobile phishing, these guys are getting really good at just phishing, not just emails, but WhatsApp accounts. And this is following similar incidents on other high-ranking officials. In March, scammers hijacked the WhatsApp accounts of parliamentary speaker Jawari Abdul and tricked some of his contacts into sending money. In 2023, threat actors accessed Telegram and Signal accounts belonging to former Prime Minister Ismail Sabari. And in 2015, they took over the Royal Malaysia Police Twitter and Facebook accounts, posting pro-Islamic State group messages. So all in all, we're seeing these phishing attacks really increase in complexity. And our final story this morning, NSO is appealing the WhatsApp decision, saying it can't pay $168 million in unlawful damages. The NSO group filing the appeal in response to the jury's $168 million award to WhatsApp last month for the spyware manufacturer's alleged role in allowing government clients to infect some 1,400 phones with its zero-click surveillance technology. NSO asking a North California federal judge who oversaw the 5-year trial to either drastically reduce the fine of $167.2 million in punitive damages the jury awarded WhatsApp, or greenlight a new trial. The surveillance product allegedly used against the WhatsApp users, Pegasus, has been found on devices belonging to members of civil society worldwide. Although, you would never see the Canadian group that was behind this Citizens Lab go after any Chinese or Russian spyware companies. Just specific, they got to come from a specific region in the world and go to specific governments in the world in order for them to be outraged. When it's China that does it, or Russia, or anyone else, it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal at all. Citizens Lab is the greatest fraud that existed under the guise of human rights in Canada. So there's that there as well. So, and by the way, NSO was presented was barred from presenting evidence showing that its power is used to investigate terrorism and crime, and they say that that unfairly tipped the scales. And so we'll definitely see. I think the trial there, from what I saw, wasn't absolutely 100% fair. The judge there made some errors, and hopefully this gets overturned and this doesn't become precedent from the state of California. That's it for our show this morning. We'll be back in just a few short hours with the legend Roger Grimes talking about how to tame the internet. how to tame hackers in the internet, how do we fight ransomware and malware. Roger's got a very, very interesting theory. It's going to be a great conversation. It is live. So come with your questions. Make sure to tune in. It's going to be unbelievable. So tune in. That's going to be 11 a.m. Eastern. And you can catch it after the fact. We'll be releasing it on all of our social media platforms after the fact and all of our podcast listening channels as well. So you'll tune in there as well, but you won't get your questions answered by being part of it live. So there's that. Until just a few hours, thank you all for tuning in this morning. Please make sure to check out CyberHubPodcast.com for all the latest and greatest. Like, comment, share. And obviously you see now comments come on the screen. So let us know what you're drinking for coffee or questions you have. We're happy to take those during the show. Until just a few short hours with Roger Grimes, y'all take care and stay cyber safe.
We love feedback, so make sure to connect with us on social media and subscribe to our podcast on your favorite podcast listening platform.